basketball has finally tipped off for the Warriors, or about to tip off here, and it's the South Atlantic Conference versus the Conference Carolinas in a crossover match here at the home of the Southern Wesleyan Warriors as they look to host the Emory and Henry Wasps for the first time this season, as it is the season opener. Both teams start off 0-0. Both teams full of fresh, new faces, excited to finally get basketball season rolling here in the upstate of South Carolina. But hey, the Wasps flying all the way down from Virginia and look to possibly give the Warriors an early sting in their season. We'll see how things play out here on the Conference Carolinas Digital Network. My name's Colin Calvert. Right beside me is Jordan York. Jordan, your thoughts coming into today's matchup?
Well, this is a matchup that last time these teams met was not in the favor of Southern Wesleyan. And in fact, none of the meetings between these teams have been in favor of Southern Wesleyan. They are winless against the Wasps this series. Only 2 games, though. The last game between these teams was in Mars Hill in the Conference Carolinas South Atlantic Conference crossover last season, where it was a 1-point game going to the fourth quarter. But then a collapse from Southern Wesleyan, just 5 points in that fourth period, 18 for the Wasps, and they took the victory 79-65. And they look for their first victory, and they look to make up for that fourth quarter collapse here tonight at Tysinger Gymnasium.
The Warriors finished up 8-20 last season under 16th year head coach John Davis. Only 4 conference wins to the 16 losses here in the Conference Carolinas. And you take a look at the polls. In all honesty, Jordan, things weren't looking too good coming into the season for the Warriors. They were polled to be 14th out of the 16 teams in the Conference Carolinas. So they have a lot to prove this season. But the same story goes for Emory and Henry, a team that also finished up close to that double-digit win side of the record, but they finished out the season 7-23, only 2 wins in South Atlantic Conference play. But we also know how stacked the South Atlantic Conference is in regards to women's basketball. 2-22 in conference play, but a lot to look forward to, and a lot to look forward to tonight, and 2 players in specific. Jordan, I'll let you go into more detail.
Well, I think the player to watch for Emory and Henry is pretty clear, and that is Brianna Yarber. She was 3rd in the conference in points per game last season with 18, and she is certainly going to be a favorite to watch for Emory and Henry. As for Southern Wesleyan, it's their 3rd returning scorer. She scored 1,000 points in her senior season in high school, and that's Peyton Lookey. And you'll be on the lookout for Lookey as she took the first shot and missed.
Yeah, first shot already. She played 28 matches, started 20 games last season, ranked 3rd on the team, 203 points to finish out as we have a wide open baseline and a quick put-in for the likes of Dot Mills, the freshman out of Canton, North Carolina.
And a beautiful find there from Grayson Hall, the junior from Randleman, North Carolina, as she stands outside the top of the key and dishes it down to the driving Mills for the 2.
Already a lot of fast-paced play here from both sides. Emory and Henry, they've got quite some experience coming into this game. They had a nice exhibition matchup against Radford, in which obviously the Radford Highlanders, being that they are D1, as we see a quick 3 launched up and away. Not going to land there for Lexi Ransom, the Casper, Wyoming native. But they played against Radford. They ended up losing by around 30-ish points, 33 points. It was 69-36 the final score. Driving baseline up and flushing straight out. Nice play there by Peyton Lookey. Saw the open alley, took it, and she'll find her way up to the charity stripe for the first time tonight. And of course, talked about that experience they garnered from that Radford game. And if you look, they were number 10 in the Navy in gold. Just 2 points, yet 10 rebounds. Miss Yarber, she is a rebound machine, the Campbell transfer. Having been with Emory and Henry most of her career, all-sack selection. Someone to keep a lookout for today. Excited as she gets the ball. Quickly tosses it. The swing out wide. No good. This one rimming out. Yarber the rebound. Up and in. You betcha.
And Yarber just doing what Yarber does so well. Second chance opportunity. She had 6 rebounds a game last season. She already has her first one and a second chance bucket as a result.
Up and on the way. The ETSU transfer, Lindy Ramsey out of Elizabethton, Tennessee. I tell you what, she played phenomenal in that Radford game. She was fed a lot and finished up the night. 9 total points, a few steals, a few rebounds. As we see SWU launch this one up. And Peyton Lookie, who's been really the go-to player tonight, can't find anything on the nothing but air. But Emory and Henry, they start off strong. It's an 8-1 lead. They're ahead by 7 points. Hey, I told you, potentially a sting here at the home opener for SWU, and right now the Wasps are delivering. We'll see you on the other side here on the Conference Carolinas Digital Network.
This is nationwide. The NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Yeah, I could do that. That's fine.
Which one am I? I'm number 1. Turn me up just a little bit more. We welcome you back here to the Theisinger Stadium. Well, the Theisinger Center, that is, here on the campus of Southern Wesleyan University in central South Carolina. Women's basketball finally tipped off, but it hasn't been going the way that SWU has wanted it to. Jordan, it's obviously an 8-1 deficit for the Warriors. The Wasp are really bringing the heat early on.
Well, a 6-0 run for Emory and Henry, causing the timeout. 4 for 5 from the field are the Wasps, and 0 for 5 from the field are the Warriors. A big reason the score is 8-1.
Yeah, just the second game of this conference crossover. We saw Belmont Abbey take down Mars Hill by 12 points. It was 72-60 the final score here, as SWU getting active here on the near side. Lots of fresh faces on this Southern Wesleyan team. Here's Peyton Lookie again, driving baseline, the quick handoff. Deanna Hayes trying and can't get it to go. Stopped by the crutch there in between the backboard and the rim. Now it's on to the Wasps as they fly their way down court. 20 seconds here on the shot clock for the likes of Dot Mills out of Canton, North Carolina. Heaves it up towards Harris. And looky there, a nice charge call. As we saw Hannah Miller, the freshman center out of Greenville, Tennessee, on the receiving end of the foul. SWU to begin.
Emory and Henry already out-rebounding Southern Wesleyan by 5. That was a major issue for the Warriors last season. They got out-rebounded by 11.7 rebounds per game.
Lexi Ransom with the left hand. Can't get it to fall. It's a really cold start here for SWU. The Euro step. Can't finish there at the rim. On the way. Rains making it rain, and finally the Warriors getting on the board besides the earlier 1 point. Trying to exchange blows is Emory and Henry. And there, the likes of Miller to clean things up under the glass. Deep ball from Rains, the junior out of Jonesboro, Georgia, the Cairn transfer. I tell you what a career she had there.
And Grayson Hall's jumper was a big one. That's her first points. All 5 starters for the Wasps have found themselves on the scoreboard. But don't let Grayson Hall fool you. She's a really good rebounder. She's a really good defender. But she was 5th in the South Atlantic Conference in three-point percentage last season. She is lethal from beyond the arc.
Three ball from Miller. Looked to be a long two, but either way, the center out of Greenville, Tennessee. Apologies, that was Hall. The junior out of Randleman, North Carolina. A rocket of an arm to send that one up and in. It's 12-3, Jordan.
10-2 run for the Wasps. Over 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
Kyra Price dips it off to Raines. He's announced towards Lookie. Round the key, tries to penetrate. Quick stop jumper. And again, this one will rim out. The Wasp back to it.
And Southern Wesleyan right now, they just can't get any shots to fall. 1 for 9 from the field, the only shot good by Raines. But when your best scorers in Lookie and Ransom are combined 0 for 6 from the floor, it's going to be really tough to score points.
Dot Mills threw that one away. The redshirt freshman guard, product of Pisgah High School up there in North Carolina. Missed the 2024-2025 season due to injury. I know that the Wasps are happy to have her back. Lookie, cross-court pass. Here's Raines looking for a three. Won't find it. Rimmed out. And Paige Neithamer, the SWV Community College transfer, two-time first-team All-Region, was a third-team All-American.
Well, Niehammer is a diamond for the Wasps. She led the all of junior college Division II in rebounds. She was the all-time leading scorer in program history before coming to the Wasps. Averaged 21.1 points per game, 13.7 rebounds per game. That's an impressive statistic for Niehammer.
23 double-doubles over the course of her career there at Southwest Virginia Community College. And here she's going to have a chance to grab some of her first points in the Navy and gold. 12-3, your score. Less than 5 minutes to go in this first quarter of action.
And Niehammer from the free throw line, pretty reliable. As you see, she sinks her first one. But Emory and Henry, last season as a team, third in the conference in free throw percentage at 74.4%. They are really good at the free throw line. They just weren't in enough games last season because, like Southern Wesleyan, they too got out-rebounded significantly last season. And this is a potential changing of the tide for Emory and Henry because last season the Wasps winless, 0 of 13 on the road.
Savannah Nicholson drains it from range. And just like that, SWU cutting down the difference. They needed that momentum shifter.
And Nicholson wasting no time getting involved, a 3-time district champ in high school and a 1,000-point scorer in her career. She also has a sister, Sydney. If that name sounds familiar, it's because she runs track at Florida International, a very athletic family the Nicholsons are a part of.
It was the first-team All-County honor there as a senior in Cardinal Gibbons High School history. We see Raines bringing it up and down. Just like that, the Warriors are back. Finally, a fire was lit under them. The armor got hot. The pressure was on, and pressure makes diamonds.
The nice trap defense creating the steal.
Fighting through multiple defenders is Miss Princess McCauley. The JUCO first-team all-conference selection, average double-digit point scoring, 17.8 points per game and 5.3 rebounds per game as a sophomore.
And I want to go back to that trap defense you just saw because you've kind of seen both teams implement it from a defensive scheme so far. They know both of these teams, their opponents struggled with turnovers last season, and so they're trying to force as many as possible. Now the problem, we've seen 4 turnovers for Emory and Henry. Southern Wesleyan very disciplined with the ball so far, none to this point.
Kind of surprising that Emory and Henry, of course, has had, well, this many turnovers so far. I mean, Yes, they were a very turnover-heavy team last season, averaging close to 20 turnovers a game. But again, that margin was pretty small compared to a lot of their opponents, including SWU. SWU had a very tough time in regards to the turnover game. They didn't handle the ball very well, didn't protect it like all coaches say that you should. And so far today, it's kind of shown in this quick start for the Wasp, and not so much for the Warriors.
Well, they didn't exactly handle the ball very well as a team last season, but one of their bright spots was they did lead in turnover margin by about 4.3 per game.
3 ball from deep. We'll see nothing there for Knifehammer of Parrotsville, Tennessee. First time I've ever heard of a Parrotsville.
I cannot say I've heard of a Parrotsville either, but the Southwest Virginia Community College transfer already made her impact on this ball game, but just unable to get it to fall from distance.
Lexi Ransom, the pass off towards Danielle Early. The Greenville, South Carolina native, who redshirted last season just to really help with her development. She's going to be a key piece defending the rim and hoping that she can really help in the rebound game for a SWU team that struggled last season underneath the boards. Quickly swiped away by McCauley. Back with Emory and Henry yet again. Up, and that'll tap the rafters and bring it to be a Warriors ball.
Both teams a combined 1 for 8 from three-point land. They've really struggled long range so far, so I want to see both of these teams adjust, try to create opportunities in the painted area. We saw 10 of the first 16 points came in the paint from Emory and Henry. We've only seen 4 in the paint for Southern Wesleyan, but both teams need to get back to their strength, especially for Emory and Henry.
SWU, who averaged 67.2 points per game last season, outscored by opponents on average by around 8 points. So games came close quite often. They were definitely a contender in the Conference Carolinas, but like I said in the pregame, they've got a lot to prove, and a block shot from the Wasp does not help the case so far. Emory and Henry pulled to be second to last in the conference, but man, are they playing like top 5.
And Niehammer with the lay-in, and right back to your strength. Finding a layup, putting it off the glass and in, and creating a turnover. Emory and Henry basketball at its finest right now.
The kick towards the middle, swing it up and around the key. Three's good. Hallie Harris, the freshman, making an early impact in this first quarter as we're winding down to the final minute and a half. I told you, a lot of new faces, Jordan, and a lot of them coming in here. They have a lot that they want to prove. Of course, being a freshman, you were a former standout in your high school. A lot of people may have doubts, hey, can they perform at the collegiate level? I love seeing freshmen adjust so quickly to that collegiate style of play.
Hallie Harris, her first career shot was a beauty, and you should never miss a shot when you're that wide open. She had all day to think about it. Aimed it perfectly and cashed it, and Emory and Henry is rolling here in this first quarter.
There, Emory and Henry, second time they've just thrown the ball away. Deep ball again for Savannah Nicholson. 2 for 2 from beyond the arc.
Don't let her heat up because she is clearly dangerous from beyond the arc.
Oh, the Euro step, the fake, but unsuccessful. From Kinley Painter, the Johnson City, Tennessee native. Here's another deep three from the Warriors. That one won't come down well. Princess McCauley trying to get active from out wide.
And honestly, that probably should have fallen. That wasn't terrific defense from Niehammer, but you see a scrum on the floor. Both teams, high energy, high tenacity. They want this season opening win.
Yeah, Tori West, the Richmond, Virginia native, She's coming off those 3 points in that exhibition against Radford. Man, she is scrappy. I love watching her play. She's a very high energy defender, but on the offensive side, she creates quite the burst that right now the Wasps need. It's only a 10-point game, Jordan. Lots can happen here over the next, well, quarter and 30 seconds. Inbounded well. Here's West. Has baseline open, drives up. Nice finish with the right hand. We have less than 20 seconds here in the first quarter in Central South Carolina.
Beautiful finish from Tori West, and there was nobody in the painted area to stop her as she drove in. A nice soft touch off the glass and back to a 12-point lead.
Looky running circles around the Wasp. She's denied by only the back iron of the rim as this one will come to a close. In the first quarter of action, still 30 minutes of good basketball left to be played here in Central South Carolina for our conference crossovers. The Conference Carolinas versus the South Atlantic Conference. We'll be right back here on the Conference Carolinas Digital Network.
Things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
We bring you back here to Central South Carolina. It's a 12-point game with the Emory and Henry Wasp. Right now leading the way over the Southern Wesleyan University Warriors. But hey, they're fighting back. A few runs here and there. Momentum has changed between both sides. And the Warriors in possession. Princess McCauley drives the lane, up and over, using the backboard, won't go. Quickly rebounded by Grayson Hall. Down-court drive, out to Hall, slings it in towards Hannah Miller. We'll see her take the extra step. The freshman out of Greenville, Tennessee, making her collegiate debut. A product of North Green High School. That 6'1" frame going to help really anchor that front court of the Wasp. As we see Hall come down with the rebound. Quick to the scene is Kinley Painter. And she's fouled on her way up to the rim. She'll find herself now to the free throw line.
Her first free throw attempts in her college career. The Providence Academy graduate had 30-plus points twice in her senior season. She's a turnover machine. Averaged 5.1 steals per game to go with almost 20 points per game.
When you said a turnover machine, I was like, man, she's the one with all the turnovers? But no, she's forcing them, and that's what teams fear, especially in a freshman. Freshmen come in with the most energy, the most grit, and a lot of time the quickest hands. Working the way around the key. Painter. Ooh, what a move. And a nice finishing touch off the glass. Emory and Henry, some fresh new talent that might surprise the South Atlantic Conference this season.
And I love the balance that Emory and Henry is playing with 8 different scorers, none more than 4. They are getting everybody involved on the offense, and everyone's producing at a high level.
Off the right foot, fading as she shoots, Michaela Raines. Lots of experience from the junior. Just in her second season with Southern Wesleyan, we saw her dominate whenever she played for Cairn. 20 points per game on average in the 26 games that she played. I tell you what, if that isn't impressive, I don't know what is. Had a career-high 47 points at Wilson as a freshman, Jordan, as a freshman. A lot to expect from her as really her career is coming to its final few years. Only 2 more years in the white and blue. Nice dump off. Can't tap it in. 15-point game. Here come the Wasp. Painter drops it off. Long 2. No good for Harris. Looky. Ball poked away. Brought back in the hands of the Warriors. Looky surveys the land. Decides not to work off the screen, but take it up the left alley herself. She'll draw a foul and find her way to the charity stripe.
And a nice drive from Ryan Harris, who has 2 points and a rebound, a block as well so far. 1 of 2 blocks for the Wasps, none for SWU, and that kind of speaks to the height disadvantage SWU is going to have to deal with in this ballgame. We kind of saw in a couple other conference crossover matchups we covered earlier today, height disparities can cause huge problems in the rebounding game and blocking game, and we're kind of seeing that same thing here tonight.
And it's all about how you use your frame as well, and we're seeing a lot of those with the extra height added, being dominant on the board side of the game. I tell you what, basketball is won underneath the rim. Harris, the quick turnaround, took the extra step. No call for the travel. Remains a 13-point game, less than 7.5 minutes here to go. What are you liking from both Emory and Henry and SWU so far?
Well, Emory and Henry has played very fundamentally sound. They have crashed the boards. They've gotten inside and created looks. They've done a terrific job. On the flip side for Southern Wesleyan, they've done a nice job creating turnovers. They've got 3 steals, leading the way so far. Only 3 turnovers offensively as well. They're doing a much better job securing the ball than Emory and Henry is.
Talk about range. Goodness gracious. Lindy Ramsey bringing that D1 experience to the D2 level. And wow, just impressive what she's bringing to the flooring here tonight.
Averaged 6 points per game last season. She's got 7 already, and we're not even close to halftime.
Rebound by Yarber. Put up and away by Ramsey yet again. She is starting to heat up quick. Here's Ransom. The pass off towards Early. Nice look, McCauley. With a bit of contact made between her and Ramsey. We logged multiple double-digit outings. Last season, scoring-wise, had a career-high 17 points against LR. And we all know how treacherous LR was in the South Atlantic Conference last season. Very dominant foe, and hey, she was a superstar against them. And Ransom looking to kick out. Rains, sidestep, long 2 off the back of the rim, and quickly brought into the hands of the Wasps.
And not just against LR, but she had 7 double-digit scoring games last season. She was a very reliable presence offensively for Emory and Henry. And remember, back at East Tennessee State, she played just 2 games before suffering a a season-ending injury. Not a career-ending injury, thank goodness.
Praise the Lord.
But was back at Emory and Henry last season with a vengeance. And you could tell she's taken that motivation into this season as well.
Ramsey, who averaged around 83% from the charity stripe. Look for her to be lethal And just like that, 2 for 2 on the evening here in Central South Carolina. The Wasp really buzzing here at the beginning of the season. Reigns, the quick turnaround, looking from out wide. Ransom now, a quick shimmy and shake, working off the screen. Towards the interior, trying to eye down her teammate, Kyra Price, the Fredericksburg, Virginia native. Grabbed a solid 77 total points on the season, 3.7 points per game on average. Look for her to be one of those interior depth players. Swinging out wide, unable to cash in, is Grayson Hall.
Emory and Henry, their largest lead of the night. They lead it by 20 on a 7-0 run. Southern Wesleyan looking to answer.
Price, it's not right there. Yarber drives with the right hand, draws the foul, and she'll take a trip up to the line for a few three-point attempts.
And that's textbook veteran play by Yarber, driving in. She had a bad angle for the shot, honestly. She was outside the paint, was trying a little hook shot, but instead she was smart enough, knowing the defender was going to be tight on her so she couldn't drive in closer to the hoop. She created the contact and ends up at the free throw line where she makes both, potentially. She's 1 for 1.
And again, it's that veteran experience that she brings to this Emory and Henry team. And she was a big part of that 42% from the field shooting percentage that they tallied last season. SWU trying to get to it and get to it quick, but they rushed the possession and a timeout called. SWU has to rearrange some things, has to recollect themselves, take a deep breath, and stop overthinking. That's what I feel like this has become for them so far. Jordan, do you agree?
I do agree, and with 4:55 to play, we're going to step aside. Emory and Henry with a 22-point lead, 37-15.
You played before that. Trying to have the trim or something.
And it's West.
West Shore FC, we're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
Black Warriors FC, we're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
West Shore FC, we're by far the greatest team
the world has ever seen.
We're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
1-1 and 6-6 in penalty kicks. Neither team has missed. This is actually insane.
We are back here in Central South Carolina. Emory and Henry, quite the lead they've got so far over the Southern Wesleyan University Warriors.
And you might have caught a glimpse of what I was saying as we came back on the air. There's other athletics action in the South Atlantic Conference as the semifinals are currently taking place. Lenore-Ryan and Anderson currently in PKs, tied at 1 apiece. Neither team has missed a penalty kick so far, but Emory and Henry with a 22-point lead, out-rebounding SWU 23-7 here in this first half.
And again, Jordan, we talked about that height disadvantage that SWU has compared to Emory and Henry. And just like that, Lindy Ramsey, standing at 5'11", she's a menace down low. Ransom, the pass off. Gammon. And Yarber comes down with a rebound. Streamlining her way, right side of the key. Wide open is Ramsey, and she makes the Warriors pay. Quite the lead that the Wasps have so far.
16 points for Ramsey, a 14-0 run for the Wasps. They are swarming defensively, and they are buzzing on the scoreboard.
Mills drives left side, the kick out. Ramsey, yet another three. Won't cash in that time around, and ball will fly out of play. Princess McCauley off her hands. Less than 3 minutes, 45 seconds on the second period clock. 2 more to go after this, after a quick halftime break. Yarber, top of the semicircle. The handoff to Mills. Mills trying to chew down the clock. Euro step in. She's blocked. Great defensive effort by Emily Gammon. The Miami, Florida native. Transfer out of Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. And she was a star there. 6 points a game, 78 assists, and led the team with 44 steals as well. We saw one from her there earlier. A nice block and the steal. Great in transition as SWU begins with the ball, trying to end Emory and Henry's hot streak, but the whistle will call it short.
And Gamon, you wonder why she would leave Abraham Baldwin Agricultural after having such a terrific season there. It's because she felt welcomed at Southern Wesleyan. It's because she felt like it was her calling. She had a terrific year at Abraham Agricultural, but she just felt a change was necessary, and Southern Wesleyan called her home.
And here she comes in transition. Flings it cross court, Looky, sidestep three, drains it from deep.
The first three in a while for Southern Wesleyan, but it comes at a good time.
They were scoreless for 4.5 minutes straight. Finally, that broken by Looky. Blocked. At three-point range, Yarber recollects it. Mills, quick sidestep to Yarber. At the doorstep, opens up the scoring yet again for Emory and Henry.
Lindy Ramsey is 6 for 7, her last 7 shot attempts.
Mills trying to move the pieces on the chessboard, and instead she'll toss this one into the hands of the Warriors, but not without Yarber getting fouled first. We'll see a few fresh legs come in for both sides. Hallie Harris in for Emory and Henry.
And in the last 5 minutes and 42 seconds of this game, Emory and Henry has gone on quite the run. It's now 17-3 in that span. When going into this quarter, it was 23-11. You know, the lead was manageable. But this second quarter, 22 points for the Wasps, only 7 for the Warriors.
Looky on to Gammon. Nice stutter step move. Eventually brought in by the Warriors in the paint. Finds the side of the backboard, no more. Still a fight for it underneath the rim. And the Wasps come up with it. Frustration starting to grow among this Warriors squad.
You could see it clearly, and I'd be frustrated too if I was down 28 points in my season opener at home. Hundreds of fans here in attendance to support tonight, and they're not liking what they're seeing from the Warriors. This is a team that just won 8 games last season. They had a couple notable wins last season, though. Let's not, sleep on that. They beat Emmanuel 73-62, and they got their first win in program history against Georgia College, 87-83. But all in all, it wasn't a stellar season. They were hoping for much improvement this year, and so far we're just not seeing it.
Well, this is a test of toughness, Jordan. This conference challenge, you're bringing in tough teams to play, and a lot of people knew that Emory and Henry was going to be quite the sleeper team in the South Atlantic Conference, and it shows with this performance today. But this is really going to mentally toughen this SWU team, and they have a nice home stretch as we see the quick steal and eventually swatted away by Harris. That time it was Esther Cole, the Penn State Abington transfer in her first year with the blue and white. Great quick hands. I'll tell you what, the 48 seals that she compiled last season. That kind of momentum carries over with this new team. Harris trying to wind her way through the trees. Here come the Warriors. Long two finds nothing but net, but the outside of it. Back to my earlier point. We'll be taking on Georgia College in Flagler after the conference crossover challenge finishes up tomorrow. And then they've got a nice midseason stretch between January 7th and the 27th. And there are some winnable home matches there. Emmanuel, like we saw last year, them getting the first win in program history versus the Lions. You've got King, Shorter, Young Harris, definitely potential pivot points there for the season for SWU. But it's going to be a tough task there, especially at the beginning of the season as Lookie tries to get the scoring going. We'll see a deep three from Gammon yet again. She's becoming more and more high volume as this game is set to begin. The pieces to the puzzle just aren't aligning right now for SWU.
Well, they're not, and they're much less disciplined with the ball than they were earlier on in this game. They were winning the turnover margin by quite a lengthy amount earlier in this half, but now they lead it by just 9 turnovers to the Wasps' 11.
Here comes Raines, drives the left side, working up and through defenders, and she gets another one to go. 27-point deficit here for SWU. How will Emory and Henry respond? They'll respond with a travel, making this a potential momentum shifter for the Warriors going into the locker room. Less than 10 seconds to go. Lookie commands the floor. She's been the floor general so far today. Time ticking down, and it's not on SWU's side. Heaves a shot up, drains it. Right at the buzzer. I tell you what, momentum shifter, absolutely. And Peyton Lookie, just a sophomore, trying to change the dynamic as we head into halftime here in Central South Carolina. It's 47-23. The Emory and Henry Wasp lead the way.
Things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Set us apart. We daily work to build champions in body, mind, and soul. It's who we are. This is Conference Carolina.
We welcome you back here to Central South Carolina.
Legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division, our legacy.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Our virtues set us apart. We daily work to build champions in body, mind, and soul. It's who we are. This is Conference Carolina.
You played before that. Trying to have them film or something.
And his Wesleyan.
Wesleyan FC, we're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
Wesleyan FC, we're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
Wesleyan FC, we're by far the greatest team
The world has ever seen.
we're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
Life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Our virtues set us apart. We daily work to build champions in body, mind, and soul. It's who we are. This is Conference Carolina.
The Conference Carolinas, the South Atlantic Conference go head-to-head in the crossover challenge hosted by the Southern Wesleyan University Warriors. But right now they're down by 25 against the Wasp of Emory and Henry. Both were polled to be near the bottom of their respective conferences. Tell you what, Emory and Henry's having quite the showing in their season debut, and a few things that Southern Wesleyan can fix. Let's take a look at the stats as we enter our halftime show.
And the stats tell the story in this one, honestly. You look at the field goal percentage, 56.7% for Emory and Henry, 22 for Southern Wesleyan. You look at three-point percentage, 33% for Emory and Henry, 23 for SWU. 10 free throws compared to 3 for Emory and Henry. And then you look at assists. They've facilitated the offense better. They've distributed better. You look at rebounds, they are dominating 30-13 in the rebound margin. The only stat that Emory and Henry is losing is the turnover margin. 9 turnovers for SWU, 12 for the Wasps, but practically every other statistic is significantly in favor of Emory and Henry as we get set just about 3 minutes away from half number 2.
Things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Our virtues set us apart. We daily work to build champions in body, mind, and soul. It's who we are. This is Conference Carolina.
We welcome you here to the campus of the Southern Wesleyan University Warriors as they take on the Emory and Henry Wasps, who have put quite the sting in the season debut. They lead by 25, and from the looks of it, they're flying away with the victory back up to Virginia. But hey, the Conference Carolinas and the South Atlantic Conference crossover doesn't end tonight. More ahead tomorrow. It looks to be a Belmont Abbey team playing Emory and Henry. They had quite the win today after scoring 72 points against the Mars Hill Lions, who will take on SWU tomorrow afternoon. So a lot more basketball action coming your way here on the Conference Carolinas Digital Network as we welcome you here to the Tysinger Center in Central South Carolina. My name is Colin Calvert. Alongside me is Jordan York. Women's basketball back here in the upstate of South Carolina, and a lot more fun to be had in this second half. For SWU, you're kind of hoping that there was word said to reinforce the idea going into this season, which is, of course, reduce the turnovers, win at the boards, and start being more versatile in your offense. Stop just looking for the three, maybe try driving a few more times like we saw be really successful early on. Jordan, your thoughts on what they need to fix?
Well, this is going to sound harsh, and I don't mean it to, but if I'm Southern Wesleyan, I completely throw out that first half. That was not a half I want to remember by any means. I look at it, the score's 0-0. We move on, and we try to have a much better second half where we're playing team basketball, where we're getting more than 3 players involved in the offense.
Speaking of a player involved in the offense, Lindy Ramsey. Talked about her being a D1 transfer from ETSU. 19 points now on the evening. She had 16 coming in to the first half. She played phenomenal against Radford, went 4 for 14. She was fed heavy volume and continues to be that kind of player here tonight. So far, 7 for 9. Ransom misses off the crutch, gets her own rebound. The quick handoff and the deep ball unsuccessful. Ramsey comes up with the rebound. She's been all over the court tonight. It was Kyra Price with a long 3. Ramsey, drive, the kick out, Yarber, 2-ball, you bet.
19 points, 6 rebounds, and why not throw in an assist for Lindy Ramsey? She is playing terrific here tonight. The D1 transfer in her season opener, well, she looks like she's in mid-season form with the Wasps, and the 30-point lead, a big reason to feel comfortable at this stage.
Oh, what a finish at the rim, the finger roll as she falls to the flooring. Phenomenal. It's 54-22 now. Ransom trying to get hot from out wide. The Flames snuffed out.
A 7-0 run to start this second half. You're seeing terrific dribble drive movement from the Wasps, and they have just done that all game. 26 points in the paint for Emory and Henry. They're outscoring Southern Wesleyan as a team from inside.
And we see Lookie fouled beyond the arc. She'll be brought up to the line for a few free points to try and alleviate the already gaping wound, which is the 32-point lead for Emory and Henry.
Two minutes gone in period number 3, and SWU finally on the board in this second half, trailing by 31. You just got to hope you get more people involved in the offense. There were only 3 scorers in that first half in Raines, Lookie, and Nicholson, who hit the 2 deep 3-point shots. You got to get people like Ransom and Hayes and Price involved in the offense. They've had very limited shots here tonight, just 8 between those 3 players and 7 of them from long distance. They haven't tried to get them in the paint at all, and that really shows. Only 6 paint points for the Warriors.
Princess McCauley having checked in the game, along with Gammon. Up and in. Yarber, second chance opportunity. As we saw Ramsey hit the deck, but her rebound recollected for the and 1. And Yarber trying to continue on the hot streak she's had so far today.
Yarber, perfect tonight. Probably the quietest 13 points you can imagine, with 4 for 4 from the field and 5 for 5, from the free throw line. But a nice answer from Southern Wesleyan.
Yeah, that was Hayes. And I tell you what, Deanna Hayes out of Piedmont, South Carolina, quite the local here. That is exactly the breath of fresh air that SWU needed. They needed to see something fall in, potentially get a run going, and a great defensive stop by the Warriors can try and continue on that momentum train. Here's Hayes, drops it off to Raines. Raines down another 2, and SWU called a comeback.
Don't call it a comeback just yet, but they have put together a nice last few possessions. Did a really nice job, Lookie, getting to the free throw line. And since you've seen Hayes and Raines both put in shots as well, they're starting to find a bit of a rhythm offensively, but defensively they just can't slow down Emory and Henry.
Yarber couldn't slow down there, tripped up by a host of Warriors with a face colliding on the floorboard. Thankfully she's okay. breath knocked out for a bit. And now here's the toss in. Ramsey. From the elbow, the kick back out. On the way, Dot Mills leaps it up and over the iron for nothing. Nicholson. Her first miss of the night. Gammon tried to find the putback. Now 30 seconds on the shot clock here for the Wasp. They're going to try and chew out the rest of the clock. Got around 6 minutes to go here in the third period. Ramsey finds Hall here on the near side. Harris drains it from the free throw line. Nice little knockdown. And Emory and Henry close to eclipsing 60 points, Jordan.
Already with not even halfway played through this third period. And to put that into perspective, this is a Wasps team that shot 41.2% as a team last season. They're 56.8 so far tonight. But they averaged 66.9 points per game. They already have 59, and we're not even halfway through the third quarter. Clearly, something is clicking. And sure, it's only one game. Let's not overreact too much. You don't know what one game's trends could mean for the rest of the season. But you gotta like what you're seeing from the Wasps and head coach Jacqueline Dickens, who seeks career win number 67 here tonight.
A football pass from Hall, finding Harris. Here's Hall looking deep. Nothing going from out wide. Ransom finds Lookie. Lookie, the drive, denied by the backboard itself. Nicholson, sink or swim, that one will sink for three.
And a really fortunate bounce right there as Lookie completely misjudged where she was completely under the basket on the layup, but Nicholson unguarded on the wing, and she's not gonna miss that. Nicholson 3 for 5 from three-point land, and that's the second time in the last couple minutes we've heard the thud of a Wasp body hitting the floor.
Yeah, that time it was Harris, the Salem, Virginia native. Steady two-way contributor as we see Ransom with active hands. Her up against Harris. Harris, who averaged 6 points a game last season for the Wasp. Here's Hall. Yarber. Double teamed. Off to the races. Tori West stolen away from her. Gammon. Multiple Wasps to beat. And Ransom finds nothing but the iron. Yarber in full stride. Stops just around baseline. And now in the hands of SWU. No kickball called either. Harris launches one up. Nothing going. The quick finishing move. Well played by number one in the Navy and yellow, Lindy Ramsey. Well, that 6 point per game average will shoot up after tonight's matchup. It's 61-33 here in Central. We'll be back after these short messages.
And we welcome you back to the action here at Southern Wesleyan, 61-33. You can't see the action just yet. There's some technical difficulties. And now we're back live, and Southern Wesleyan out of the break with the two-pointer.
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties on our side. We apologize about that. The camera died, but we know how to work around a few obstacles here and there. And right now, we see Tori West working around a few obstacles of her own, and that would be the SWU Warriors. Deep ball from Harris. And Gammon keeping pace. Off the hands of West, intending that one for Lexi Ransom out of Casper, Wyoming. I didn't think anybody lived in Wyoming.
I actually know quite a few people from
My
Wyoming.
cousins live in Wyoming, but you know, it's the ongoing joke. Who knows anybody that lives in Wyoming? But we happen to know many people that live in Wyoming. Ransom surprising how much she's missed tonight, being that she shot 50% from deep in 7 matchups last season. Yarber found West. Here's Ramsey now. The toss-up. Nithamer. Talk about a finish there at the rim. The 6'1" frame doing her well. Untouchable from underneath. West forces the issue. Ransom tracking her down, but can't stop her. Quick feet, quick pace, and a nice finish. 65-35, 20-point lead.
West doing all the work herself right there. Perfect from the field, only 2 shot attempts so far tonight. Both easy layups like that last one.
Gammon shot ringed out. Here's West now. Inside and in. Perfect assist from West, and on the run was Nithamer. Just trying to get any type of scoring going was Lookie.
And Niehammer collecting the rebound. Her second, 1 steal, 1 block as well to go with the 8 points. She's really done a nice job in her first action with the Wasps this season. 75% from the floor. 7 minutes of action, but you wouldn't know it based on her production as Southern Wesleyan has possession.
Yeah, Niehammer, just one of those bright spots that the transfer portal really provides for a lot of these smaller teams. You bring in players that might not have other opportunities elsewhere, as Tori West snagging that one from midair. Sling inside, Niehammer looking, driving, spinning, and she's fouled right underneath the rim by Price.
And Yarber had 4 double-doubles last season, and actually a career high of 12 boards at Anderson last season. She's got a double-double tonight, 13 points, 10 rebounds, and perfect from the free throw line is Yarber. She's a 2-time third-team All-SAC selection, member of the all-freshman team as well in the conference in 22-23 season, and as preseason all-conference this season, and you see why.
Yeah, you absolutely do see why. She checks out. In for her is the freshman, Hannah Miller. She brings a lot of length to the front court of the Wasp. And Niehammer can't finish from the charity stripe. Here comes Raines. One of those few scores for SWU so far. Ring around the Rosie. The Warriors up and blocked is Lookie, keeping the possession alive from the interior. Was the likes of Deanna Hayes. We saw Raines unable to capitalize off the attempted shot. Would have been a deep 2. The no-look pass from Lookie. Raines Cole to Hayes. Now out wide, Reigns again. Second chance, rebound opportunities, but Harris with the smackdown swats it away.
That didn't sound like it hit a body. You could hear the echo of her right palm gracing its presence on the basketball, but the foul called and the free throw is good. I'm not really sure if I agree with that foul call, but no need to argue about it when you're up 30 points as the Wasps currently are.
Niehammer spinning, kissing the glass as she goes. Nice little finger roll to add salt to the wound of this large deficit of SWU. Reigns tries to feed it inside. Niehammer there to intercept.
20-plus points in all three quarters for Emory and Henry here tonight. None greater than 15 for Southern Wesleyan. It has been a dominant effort from the Wasps.
Driving but unsuccessful on the lay is Miller, who had 5 points and a rebound against Radford. Less than 20 to go here in this third quarter of play. 10 more minutes of Conference Carolinas and South Atlantic Conference action coming your way here on the Conference Carolinas Digital Network as Lookie finally brings some more points back to the board of SWU. At the finish, Tori West from coast to coast. The nice finishing touch on the 31-point lead. 10 points and 10 minutes to go. 71-40. We're on to the fourth and final bit of action here on the Conference Carolinas Digital Network.
Things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
The final bit of action here in the Conference Carolinas South Atlantic Conference crossover here in Central South Carolina. Day one of it, at least. 10 minutes to go in this fourth and final quarter of play. Southern Wesleyan to go ahead, take the helm. And just like that, the Wasp swipe it away. Here comes Harris, drives the lane, turned over into the hands of Cole. Esther Cole in the fast break tries to find her teammate Reigns, able to keep it in place somehow, and blocked away eventually by Miller.
And that's kind of a microcosm of how this game has been for Emory and Henry. Every good thing Southern Wesleyan does, Emory and Henry has the answer. You get the incredible save to keep it in bounds, and Hannah Miller with the absolute rejection, denying Southern Wesleyan any signs of life getting back into this game, trailing by 31.
Niehammer now to potentially extend that already extensive lead. Launches one up. And a few tussles around the rim and eventually falls in. Less than 9.5 minutes to go. We've already seen some pretty impressive scoring. Harris grabs the rebound. SWU Again, it's just been trouble underneath the rim, rebounding, creating those other opportunities. But here's an opportunity for West. It'll bounce its way out. Raines, the fast break. 2v1 matchup. She goes up for it and grabs 2 more points. To her, impressive scoring night. Ten points on 11 attempts from field goal range, and Niehammer. A nice right to left shift and a nice finish with the left hand.
And Niehammer 5 for 6 from the floor. 13 points for her, tied with Yarber for second on the Wasps. Ramsey, though, the star of the show, 23 points, 8 rebounds here tonight. This 32-point lead, the largest of the game for Emory and Henry.
Looky, quick trigger 3. It'll rim out. Second chance, got it. Trinity Nesbitt, the redshirt freshman out of Greenville, South Carolina, gets the bench of SWU hyped up.
Saw no action last season, but in her first minute of this season, she finds her first points with the Warriors, and the crowd was hyped up about it. Under 8 to play, and you look for the little victories here at this stage of the game. A 30-point comeback, highly unlikely given the amount of time left, and given how well Emory and Henry has played here tonight. A tremendous credit to them, as the 3-ball won't go for Southern Wesleyan, but you look for the little wins. You look for more people to get some points. You look for disciplined ball movement, no turnovers over the last 7.5 minutes. You know, little goals that you can set in timeouts.
Niehammer over 2 defenders with a nice 2-piece McNugget. 76-44, less than 7.5 minutes to go. Here's Gammon. Hands it off to Nicholson. She's quick to the 3 and finds it.
And she is pretty accurate from beyond the arc. 4 for 7 tonight. All of her points have come from beyond that blue curved line.
Looky, the fast break. Up and in for Savannah Nicholson. We said all her points had come from outside the arc. Well, she made us eat our words with a few extra points in the interior.
And defense to offense, transition basketball at its best. That's what you want to see from Southern Wesleyan as this game winds down, and we might see it again.
There's Princess McCauley. Timeout called by Emory and Henry. Looky there, it's within 25 now. This is a SWU team that was so pivotal in the turnover-forcing game. Now it's to see if the points can balance that out. Points off turnover have been big. Transition game has been big. We'll see if that continues as we come back from a quick break. 6.5 minutes to go here, the Conference Carolinas Digital Network.
Legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division, our legacy.
Coming to you live from Central South Carolina, we've seen quite the turn of the tides here as SWU been on a bit of a bounce back. Jordan?
A 7-0 run in the last 1 minute and 1 second. And a big reason why is defense to offense. 20 turnovers tonight for Emory and Henry, and a couple transition fast break opportunities for the Warriors. They've put them in off the glass, and the lead is 25, and a comeback seems just a smidge more reasonable.
Niehammer trying to make it less reasonable. Weaving through the alley. Miller tosses it back into the paint for the mismatch between Kinley Painter and the likes of Lainey Marks making her collegiate debut. The freshman out of Charleston, South Carolina, 4-time region champion. It's a very well-rounded producer in high school, averaging around 12 points per game. Getting her chance at the collegiate level and trying to make it count. Painter heaves one up and can't drop it on a dime. Here comes Raines, speeding down the court. Nicholson off the crutch. Her hot streak will come to a quick end. 6 minutes remaining here in Central.
Nicholson 3 for her last 5 from the floor. 2 of those from beyond the three-point line. But as a team, just 1 for 10 on their last 10 three-point attempts.
Reagan Chapman loses it deep in SWU territory. Painter comes up with it. Jump ball is called. A host of Warriors surrounding her. Going back to Reagan Chapman, glad to see her back out on the court. She started 8 games last season before sustaining injury that took her out the entirety of the season. She's back with the ball now. Averaged around 4 points a game, and we'll see Miller take this one down the court. The handoff to West. With 3 points against Radford. Emory Veal in her first appearance. The freshman of Norfolk, Virginia, steps up and out of play.
And another mistake for Emory and Henry. We've seen quite a few of them here in this fourth quarter. Just 2 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from the three-point land, and a number of turnovers, 22 on the night. And I'll tell you, if Emory and Henry does hold on to this victory, it's tough to be mad with a 26-point victory. But Coach Jacqueline Dickens is not going to be happy with how loose they've been with the basketball. 26-point lead for the Wasps. We'll see if they can hang on in the final 5 minutes.
Nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
The final 5 minutes coming your way here at the home of the Warriors of Southern Wesleyan University in the Tysinger Center. And man, I tell you what, the crowd is loud as the final 5 minutes coming our way. A few hundred in attendance for the season opener for SWU. And plenty have made the trip down from Virginia to support the Wasp as well. The Tysinger Gymnasium, safe to say, it is booming. Able to recollect the whiff. It is the likes of Nesbitt, but Miller, just too much for her to handle.
Hannah Miller, just an absolute force down low. Her second block of the night. The 6th as a team for Emory and Henry, and they have just been a force on the defensive side of the ball. Makes sense because Southern Wesleyan only has 51 points kind of hard to score on a really good defensive team. And it actually is credited as a steal, not a block for Hannah Miller, but still her second steal of the night.
Chapman launches one. Nothing but air. Looky. Gets a lay of the land. Works off the screen. The quick pass off. The pick and pop unsuccessful. Miller steals it away. Now's where we see Painter try and chew down the clock. Emory and Henry feels like they have this one in the bag. But who knows? A few more points wouldn't hurt, right? Chapman airs one out. Nothing going for her from beyond the arc. Yelton. Oh, looky there. The sophomore out of Forest City, North Carolina. Her first few points of the night.
Her first three-point attempt, a good one. Played in 16 games, had 13 points and 10 rebounds last season. Was the player of the year in 20-24 and a career-high 4 points versus Young Harris. She's just one shy of that after that bucket.
Painter sees the open alleyway. And SWU, a better defensive stop. Looky, passes it off towards Yelton, who drives baseline. She's shoulder checked. Ball still remains in play.
How about this disparity as the lay-in is good for Emory Veal. As a team, Southern Wesleyan shooting 28% from the floor. Emory and Henry over 50.
Thankfully, Jordan, this is the very first game of the season. If it was midway through the season, then there would be a lot of concerns. But you have to get game film to be able to really see what you need to work on. And for SWU, it's going to be a few things. Of course, any of those things that pop out to you?
Well, I think rebounding is a big one because you look at the rebound margin. It's a lot closer than it was, but still being out-rebounded by 14 here tonight, that's not a statistic you're going to be too happy about. But here's another big one. There has been very little emphasis on points in the paint. They only have 14 points in the paint here tonight. Emory and Henry, 46. There has been very little dribble drive offense for Southern Wesleyan. I'd like to see that incorporated more in the Warriors scheme because it's been a lot of tough long-range twos or transition opportunities, but transition opportunities aren't a guarantee. So you got to create shots inside the paint, what we call high percentage shots, close to the basket, over maybe a defender, but a mismatch in your favor where you can get a tough two to go.
Yelton to inbound. Knocked off the hands of Chapman. There's Looky playing gritty down low. Tries to pass it off to Danielle Early. The all-region selection. Back in high school. Redshirted last year, as we mentioned beforehand. The feed down low. Intercepted by a multitude of wasps. As the whole gymnasium here in Tysinger Gymnasium goes quiet. 24-point lead for Emory and Henry as they decide if it's on the floor or if it'll be a few free throw attempts, but this will be SWU to inbound.
And how about this statistic? If you take away Lindy Ramsey, take away all of her points, all of her statistics from the night, Emory and Henry just now lost the lead. It'd be 57-56. Lindy Ramsey, the difference maker here tonight. She's played incredibly well. And she's not on the floor. She's deserved her time on the bench to rest as they get ready for a test with Belmont Abbey tomorrow. The Crusaders and the Wasps likely both 1-0, and they'll be meeting up here in Tysinger Gymnasium.
Loose ball picked up by Matheson. She's flung into the padding behind the netting as we have less than 2 minutes to go here.
And the offensive production slowed down significantly in this fourth quarter for Emory and Henry. Just 8 points so far for the Wasps when they've had 23 or more in every other quarter of this game, but obviously felt comfortable given the substantial lead they had coming into this period, because when you're leading 71-40, you're feeling pretty good going to the fourth quarter.
The Boone, North Carolina native finds her first points of, well, her collegiate career. They're on the free throw make, 1 for 2 from the charity stripe. This one snagged away by Chapman. And then basically just given away. Journey Grace, the Durham, North Carolina freshman out of Jordan High School. Just a bit out of the 5'5" guard's reach. And a good move. Foul drawn. And we'll see Ransom up to the line. Within 23 are the Warriors.
Ransom, 78.8% from the free throw line last season. One of the best free throw shooters on this SWU team. And that free throw make her first point of the night.
And she shot so much today. A very high volume shooter. They just need her to really up the accuracy. Ball back in her hands now. Can she find a few more on the evening? Yelton drives baseline, step back 2, gets stuck in the crutch, falls out, and she's got a chance here. Ransom launches it, no good from out wide. Less than a minute 20 here in regulation.
And just a 21-point lead now. Good resilience shown by the Warriors in this fourth quarter, fighting back into this ball game.
Forcing the turnover are the Warriors, flung up, and a timeout called. Hey, talk about a gritty defensive effort from the Warriors as they're putting on a defensive showcase here in the final few minutes. We'll go ahead and take a break here on the Conference Carolina's Digital Network and see you on the other side.
You played before that. Trying to have the trim or something.
And it's Wesleyan.
Wesleyan FC, we're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
We're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
Wesleyan FC, we're by far the greatest team
the world has ever seen.
we're by far the greatest.
The final minute coming your way here in Central South Carolina. Remember, more Conference Carolina, South Atlantic Conference crossover coming your way tomorrow. So make sure you tune in here on the Conference Carolina's Digital Sports Network as Ransom drives just outside the key, penetrates, slings it around baseline for Yelton. She's pummeled to the ground. Both her and Emory Veal are going head-to-head. And we'll see Ransom inbound this one for the final minute of play.
And a couple other scores from this conference crossover. Wingate took down UNCP 70-58 in their version of the Carolinas South Atlantic Conference crossover. Columbus State took down Tusculum 103-47. That not a crossover event.
Deanna Hayes, beautiful finish at the rim. The Piedmont, South Carolina native draws the and one. There's a bright spot in the offense for SWU. And again, we talked about how it's the little victories that count, and things will pick up as the season goes along. Plenty of winnable games for the Southern Wesleyan team. Hey, only down by 18 now.
Certainly a terrific fourth quarter, and that's more of what you wanted to see the whole game. Shooting 47% in this fourth period. If they had kept that percentage going the whole game, I can't imagine how this game would be different.
Painter, the toss off, and great finish by Julie Matheson with the floater. Less than 15 seconds. Ransom drives, met at the doorstep. 3 ball, trying to finish at the buzzer is Marks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be your game here to finalize day 1 of the Conference Carolinas South Atlantic Conference crossover here in Central South Carolina. It was a 20-point game, 82-62, with Emory and Henry and the Wasp taking the victory to open up their season. Jordan, your thoughts on this game overall before we close things out?
They out-rebounded the Warriors. They outshot the Warriors. They outblocked the Warriors. They distributed better than the Warriors. They did a lot of things better. They deserved the win, and they were dominant in the paint. That was the key to their success. We'll see if it continues tomorrow when they play Belmont Abbey. Lots of exciting times ahead of us. If you're both a SWU fan and an Emory and Henry fan, you've got lots to expect with the up-and-coming season. But we'll see you on the other side tomorrow here in Central South Carolina. For Jordan York, my broadcast partner, I'm Colin Calvert. You can follow me at Calvert Commentary. You can follow Jordan York at Jordan York _PXP. And we will see you on the other side.